Life as You Own It with Mark McDougall and Craig Miller.
Remember, you got questions, we've got answers. You may not take the time to educate yourself about the single largest investment and opportunity you have, that investment in the roof over your head in real estate.
We talk about your home, financing, making investments in real estate. We give you the facts, folks.
You know, it's just good old-fashioned horse sense that we like to talk about. And we also throw in some other horse stuff, too, just for fun.
Life as You Own It with Mark McDougall and Craig Miller.
Remember, you got questions, we've got answers. You may not take the time to educate yourself about the single largest investment and opportunity you have, that investment in the roof over your head in real estate.
We talk about your home, financing, making investments in real estate. We give you the facts, folks.
You know, it's just good old-fashioned horse sense that we like to talk about. And we also throw in some other horse stuff, too, just for fun.
All right, we are Life as You Own It. I'm Mark McDougall. He is
Craig Miller.
That's right, Craig Miller.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to have a fantastic show. Hope you're
are.
enjoying the weekend. We've got a lot of information for you. And Craig, how you doing?
If I was any better, I'd probably have to smack myself.
Probably, you know what? I'll do it for you.
All righty.
How's that sound? Well, if you're checking us out for the first time, welcome aboard. We come at you each and every weekend on a growing number of affiliates across the nation. We thank you again for joining us. Hope that you will learn, in fact, we know you will learn so much about the biggest investment you will probably make in your life, the roof over your head. We call it Life as You Own It because we're going to help you. We're going to help illustrate for you some tools, tips, tricks, illustrate, articulate, whatever is dictate.
Empower you.
You got to empower you with the things that
Education.
you need to do to become a savvy, educated, sophisticated consumer. Saving the most on your mortgage, saving the most on those home improvements, getting your best deal on
estate
insurance.
plan.
You got it. All of it each and every weekend. We
Grocery
like
shopping.
got it. We like to have some fun too.
Love
right,
life.
Craig?
We cover love life.
Love
Whatever-
life.
Neither one of us are any good at it, but we try to throw
That's
some
right.
stuff out there.
But we don't stop trying. Remember, you can check out, we're looking right now at the big screen. Yes, you can podcast the show. You can video podcast the show. You can take us on the road. If you go to lifeasyouownit.com, we've got all the latest information about the show to include upcoming guests and Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you name it, we're available to you. And if that's not enough, you can get us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn Radio. Podcast, webcast, video podcast is what we recommend you do because you can see just how handsome Craig is.
An outcast.
An outcast. All right, so we got a big show for you today. As we mentioned, we're going to begin with the age-old question. How much money do I need to make in order to afford a home? We'll tell you which cities are the cheapest and which ones are the most expensive.
People like to know this, especially if they're thinking about moving.
That's right.
Might change your mind.
Home sellers, if you want to drive a real estate agent nuts, we've got 5 suggestions. Okay, we're strongly encouraging you not to do any of these, but I'll bet each and every one of you that sold a home, you've probably violated at least one of these. And in real estate, Craig, we're partying like it's what? What year?
1997?
97? 1995, maybe 1994, 93, but you get what I'm laying down. Well, maybe it's not that big of a party, and I'm hoping, in fact, I'm pretty certain we're going to have the same size hangover, but look at the roll housing is on for the last 18 months, Craig, and that's ROLL, not ROLE. It is on a roll. We're going to share some data with you. Beam me up, Craigie. You ever been called Craigie?
Nope. Been called
Yeah,
Craiger.
now.
Craigers.
Now you're
And I've been
Craigie.
called Greg. Quite a
Greg.
bit.
I do that occasionally.
Yeah.
Greg.
Greg. My closest friends actually do call me Greg for good times.
They do. Beam me up, Craigie. Star Trek fans, we've got the house for you. But you might need Thurston Howell money to make it happen. Speaking of Gilligan's good friend, it looks like an island very similar to Gilligan's just sold at a huge discount.
Have you made it out to your new island yet, Mark?
I have not yet.
You got a good deal, man.
But I'm taking you, so bust out the string bikini. Also, student loan debt. It's a killer, isn't it, Craig? You've talked about that a lot.
We pummel you with this because we want you to know it is a killer.
It is a killer.
And we've got 5 colleges you can attend for free. That's
No
right.
excuses.
Faux free.
Faux free. not to, like, faux free. F-O-F-R-E-E.
Right, not F-A-U-X. faux free.
Oh, and, yeah.
Because that would be faux.
That-
You think
know
it's
what?
free,
Right.
And then
That's
you
a
get
student
there.
loan. That is what getting a student loan
Exactly.
is faux free.
That's the little pun I was throwing out there, Mark. I'm glad
Good.
you caught on.
Good. I'm a little slow.
Little witty today.
Want to ensure you get that next job, lower rate on your mortgage, pay less for insurance, find the love of your life. We'll share the secret later in the show. All right, folks. As you can tell, a lot of good info. Darren over here in the studio is pumped. I can tell he is. You're ready for
Darren,
the show today, aren't you?
Postured up.
I can't wait.
All right, wipe the drool
I am
off your
standing.
chin. Sit up straight.
I am standing.
Sit up. Stand down. Stand down, soldier. All right. So, also in a typical episode of Life as You Own It, you're going to hear where interest rates are trending. I said not to every episode. Craig's going to give you the interest rate update, and we're going to do some should you stay or should you go scenarios. Real live scenarios where you, the listeners, emailed us or called us your question, your scenario, and we told you, Craig tells you very quickly and expeditiously, in less than 3 seconds, whether you should stay with that loan, stay with that apartment, stay with that home you're thinking about selling or staying in, or you should go. Get the heck out of it. All right? So what you do is you give us the details. We don't care we need to know what's the loan amount, what's the rent you're paying on the home, how long are you going to be in that mortgage or in that rental, and what your goals are of the transaction, kind of short goals of the transaction. We'll tell you whether you should get out of Dodge or whether you should stick with what you're doing now. Is that right, Craig?
That's right.
Okay.
We will.
So, Craig, you want to jump in with the interest rate?
Let's
Anything
talk
else?
about these rates.
Did this all sound like a good show to you? Enough meat
You know
in
what?
the show?
I'm interested.
You got some
I'm gonna-
potatoes
I
you're going
think-
to throw in?
I think I'll hang in there with you for about an hour. We'll see what happens.
About an hour?
See what we can do with it.
Maybe
with this
50 minutes?
information. Yeah. We'll see what we can do with this information. Okay. Rates, folks. We bring it to you every week. You want to know what they are? We're going to share them with you. Now, this is the national average. So, this is not exact science. Your scenario may be different. These things are predicated upon a few basic premises that the national average is based upon every week. A $200,000 average loan amount, 20% or more equity, perfect credit. Keep in mind, you might have less than perfect credit. You may have a lot larger loan amount, a lot smaller loan amount. That can affect things. And when we give you these national averages, these averages don't include a very important aspect of the transaction that you've got to be focused on. And what is that? The fees and costs, folks. That's where everybody gets gigged. They might get a good rate, they paid too much in fees. Maybe conversely, you don't get as low of a rate as your neighbor, but you paid no fees, which means it's a better deal for you ultimately in a lot of ways, most ways, for the long run and a short run. So, watch the fees, and of course watch those fees. Those are the 3 rules of mortgages. As much as location as the rules of real estate, we want to tell you that when it comes down to a loan, watch those costs. As I give you these rates, remember, compared to last week, we're going to give you this week, and we're going to tell you where we think things are going. We also want you to keep in mind, too, that regionally things can vary, and these do include some points. People are paying on average about 1 point. 1 point is 1% of your loan amount. On a $200,000 loan, that's $2,000. In addition to some of those other fees and costs that we mentioned before. You got to try to watch that so that if there's a better opportunity compared side by side, you have the choice to make an educated decision. Ask a lender you're working with, do you have any options with no fees? And that means nothing rolled in your loan. That means nothing charged and passed on to you. That means it's paid for by the lender, or maybe lower costs than what their initial quote is. And see what the rate difference is. It may ultimately be the better deal. 30-year fixed rates, folks, 4.13 average over the past week. That's compared to 4.17 the week before, so we saw a little bit of a downward trend in interest rates over the past week. 15-year, 3.15 versus 3.21. 5-year ARM, that's fixed for 5 years. Then it can adjust. It's amortized on a 30-year loan. That's about 3.30 average versus 3.26, so pretty flat there. Actually went the other direction. FHA 30-year fixed 3.87 versus 3.90. All right, folks, so what are we seeing? Well, over the past week or so, we've seen interest rates improve, but I believe, as we closed out last week, rates showed us through technical indicators that we are probably at about a bottom for right now, short of a major financial upheaval, some type of beginning of another recession, or international news that kind of puts a damper on things. I don't think rates can get a whole lot better than they are right now. My opinion is locking is prudent. If you're in the process of buying a home, refinancing, this would be a good time to take advantage of it. Mark, come on over here and give me a little. Mark was getting right up on me there.
I was. If you're
can't
watching
see,
the
you gotta
video
watch the
podcast,
video.
you'll know what's going on. You got to check it out. Go to YouTube,
I feel-
lifeasyouownit.com, or Life As You Own It on YouTube. You'll see what's going on. You'll see the shenanigans. Sorry, Craig.
A lot of shenanigans.
I didn't mean to invade your
Didn't
personal
distract
space
me. I enjoy
while
that.
you're giving the rates. That's great
I
information.
enjoy closeness.
Bottom line is, folks, as Craig always says, if you can't explain the transaction to your friends around the water cooler, then you probably shouldn't sign on the dotted line until you can. Did I say that right, Craig?
You
Good.
said that right. If I can't explain to your friends
It's something.
well enough that they would understand what you're doing succinctly, you can't explain it to somebody else and explain why you did it, don't do it yourself.
Hey, if you were listening when I just said it, you know that's exactly
I
what I
say
said.
better.
You do,
I like
because
the
you
way I
say
say
it with a little bit of a lift.
Yeah.
I think it's me. You got a cough drop in your mouth?
Yep.
Yep. All right. I hope you're getting over that spring cold. All right, folks. Oh, do you hear that music? Nope, that's not music. That is music.
That's music.
It's not music to my ears, though, because it means we've got to take a break, folks. When we come back, we're going to answer the age-old question, how much money do you need to earn to purchase a house? We've got some statistics from several different cities. You'd be surprised at how affordable it might be to be a homeowner. Life as you own it. Stay tuned. I need to stop saying stay tuned, don't I? Because you're not tuning on the internet. You're not tuning on the internet, are you?
No, but nobody's come up with a better vernacular phrase. You know, like stay
I don't
where
think you need to use foul language.
stay where you are.
Called me did you hear what he called you? A vernacular.
So do you want to? Should I stay or should I go in this segment?
I do. I'm going to need Craig to print off the should you stay or should you go segments or pull them up.
I can pull them up.
You know what? I can pull them up on my email. I'm sorry I didn't print them off, but I have them right here.
Okay.
I bet. Possibly.
All right, I'll
Let's
hit
see.
one pretty quick here. All right,
Yeah, we can jump into them.
We ready?
Let me stop this so she knows there's actually two different videos.
Sure. Action!
All right, friends, we are back. Life as you own it. I'm Craig Miller. If you're just now joining the show, we have, of course, Mark McDougald here, as always, sharing with you the beauty of the truth. And we're gonna fill you in on all kinds of good stuff, especially as we jump into this next little portion of the show that we talked about early on. How much money do you need to earn, in order to make owning a home an affordable endeavor for you?
Yeah, and folks, many of you that have probably purchased your first home, or those of you that are contemplating purchasing your first home, I don't know, Craig, do you think is home ownership affordable?
I definitely think that it is. I do think people are ill prepared generally. The desire to get into that home quickly makes people choose, I guess, not to be as set up well for the taking that on as
Right.
they could be. So, but I mean, it's affordable. It's just going about the right way. It's very affordable.
Yeah.
If you get started on the wrong foot, you can run into a few pitfalls. So.
Hey, the genesis of this show was that people were purchasing the largest asset they'll likely buy in their entire life with no form of financial plan. Secondly, we found that not only did not have a financial plan, they didn't know how to protect their assets properly. And then we go, gosh, not only not know how to protect their assets, but they may be missing out on opportunities to get lower interest rates on the credit cards, et cetera, by knowing the tips and tricks to maximize their credit score. So many things roll right out of what is their single largest purchase they'll make in their life, and having a budget, a strategy to maximize that opportunity is what they got to do. So, and it's why we're here. So, all right. So, in we're going to give a few cities: Cleveland, Detroit, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, St. Louis. Some very nice cities. If you make $35,000 or less, you can purchase the median priced home.
Wow.
And that is in the low 100,000s. That home price for those markets can be in the low 100,000s. You can buy a house, a nice roof over your head in these markets. Remember, folks, it's all relative. Median home priced. The median home price in San Francisco, on the other end of the spectrum, was $679,000, and that means you would need to have the median, you would need to make $137,000 in your combined household income.
And I'm going to tell you, that's still a stretch to live that way.
That is. It's
to live in
4
San
times.
Fran and that has
Sure,
that income.
because everything
level,
else is
ooh,
relative
man.
too. Now,
Yeah.
in other words, what's the cost of groceries? What's the cost of gas? What does your commute cost? All those kind
What's
of
it
things.
cost to use a public restroom in San Francisco? I think
Does
you
it,
have to
does
pay
it cost?
Oh yeah, they've got
No.
coin operated. Yeah, all over California, coin operated public
Charging,
restrooms.
you know what? They see you coming and they charge for it. They're like, this
Yeah.
guy's gonna blow this joint up.
Yeah,
$50,
No,
sir.
but
We're gonna have to have
seriously.
a plumber come.
There's a lot of dual cohabitation going on in residences in cities like San Francisco, where multiple families live in one house, and even some fairly cramped living conditions to afford to be able to live in a home there.
So, folks, the bottom line is, as we say, in a lot of markets, it is very affordable to be able to purchase a home, but being able to have them more qualify for it, which is really what we're talking about. And this number is, what does it take to qualify for it from what we call the PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance for the median home. You can see you don't have to make a lot of money, but you do have to make more than that PITI payment to be able to own the house. You got to pay for the utilities. You got to pay for the upkeep. You got to pay for the washer, the dryer, all the things, mow the lawn, landscaping, all those things. That's why we
That's
do
the
the show.
stuff that'll sneak up on a lot of
That's the
people,
stuff.
especially if you're kind of on that borderline. Next thing you know, your water heater's out, or there's some issue, your roof's leaking, and you can't afford to fix it.
So is
You gotta be prepared.
housing affordable? Heck yeah. Do you
It
need to
is.
make it just like a business plan, put it together? Heck yeah. All right. That music means time for Should You Stay or Should You Go, Craig. You know the
Let's hear it.
routine. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Right. Annie in Eureka Springs, Arkansas Road. I have a nice lake house that has no mortgage. It's worth about $300,000. I am now divorced and want to move permanently to the lake. My question is, should I stay mortgage free or take out some money to invest elsewhere? I don't have as much liquid retirement as I think I will need, and I am 44 years old. Please advise.
Okay. Not exactly should you stay or should you go material per se. We're going to answer it. We put that on here, folks. We selected this one because it has some merit. This is a question that comes up frequently. If stay is staying mortgage free and go is taking out some cash from your equity, I'm going to go with go. Here's the situation, though. You have to, like anything else, have a bona fide plan, a well put together plan. You need a team around you, a wealth creation team, so to speak. A good accountant, a good financial advisor, and your mortgage planner. You need to be working with people who are going to inform you well, advise you with ethics and integrity of what's the right thing to do, and not just look to make a sale. Is there opportunities for you to hedge that money or arbitrage those funds and come out ahead and have a little bit of liquid funds to work with and move around? Yes. What's the right amount for you? We don't know. It sounds like you've got a substantial asset there. If it's the right home to live in and it's where you really want to live and it fits, that priced home fits your asset/income structure, then stay there. Maybe you downsize a little bit from that, and that's the way you liquidate some of that equity to invest. But definitely sit down with a super good financial advisor that cares about your needs and see what they think. That's my
Amen.
answer on that one.
All right, Craig. Good one, my friend. Okay, home sellers, if you want to drive a real estate agent nuts, here's your 5 suggestions. Okay, you ready?
Let's hear it.
All right, number 1. Why don't you go ahead and price your home well over what the real estate agent is suggesting because you think it is unique and therefore worth more money. That's one way.
We see it all the time where we have this or we have a swing set in our backyard. Or, there are people who come up with some
The granite we used on the countertops is unlike the other granite in the other houses on the block because this was exclusive
from Brazil. No, but seriously, we do see this a lot, folks, where you've got maybe a few unique features, and maybe you do have the nicest yard on the block, or maybe you've got some really pretty shutters, or you've remodeled and it's really neat. But what your home sells for it still has to fit the area, and of course, it'll sell for what buyers are willing to pay. If you try to overprice your home, you're going to kill yourself in the first 30 days on market. You've got to listen to the experts, and you've got to think this thing through.
That's right.
This is a big one.
All right, and this is a big one also. You don't clean up the home, especially before a showing, folks. Your house must be neat. It must be tidy. Leaving clutter around, leaving junk, trash, smell, whatever it may be. Clean that sucker up. Put on your best face. This is like prom night. every time your home shows, I know it's annoying, you're trying to live, but every time your home shows, get your makeup right, or get your Craig, in your case, you would have had a corsage on, I had a boutonniere on, make sure it's pinned on right, make sure you're ready to go. But you only make one first impression. Right, Craig?
That's what I always say.
That's what you always say. All right, number 3 is...
Usually the first impression I would make with Mark is my knuckles on his forehead.
Yeah, you do. And then I go, oh my gosh, that mosquito that just bit me is going to leave a mark on my forehead. All right, 3 is what, Craig?
You stick around during the open house.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what, there's nothing like having the homeowner there to tell you all about it. Well,
Tell you all about the special.
home.
I clean these air filters every quarter, whether they need it or not.
That's right.
You know how much this bathroom cost me? Folks, again, listen to your real estate agent. Let them show the house. Let the people investigate of their own accord, and go get a cup of coffee. Leave the house. Let the professionals do their job. Number 4, you hold out for extra money at the last minute. All right, you got a buyer. They make an offer. And they want $2,000 of, maybe the inspections come back, and it's $500 worth of work that they want, and you're unwilling to relent, but you got a full price offer because you're thinking, oh, I just want this additional $500. Folks, I'm just telling you, if the market is not flying, it's $500, you got close. Don't get hung up on the little stuff. Drive it get your deal closed, move on down the road. Don't get hung up over $500, $800, or $1,000. You're being penny wise and pound foolish, and often you're just letting your ego, it's not the money thing either, it's just kind of letting your ego or your pride get in the way of making a business deal. Number 5 is what, Craig?
You don't clean up before turning the keys over to the new buyer. Now, you want to drive your realtor crazy, and you want to drive everybody else crazy, and look kind of like a little bit of a dirtbag.
Yep.
Just walk away like you don't care. Especially, we see this a lot when people have already closed, everything's done, someone's taking possession a day or two later, they show up, you've left trash, you've left clutter, you've left old junk that you didn't want to move out of the house because you had no use for it anymore, and it just really is just not a cool way to do business.
And there's a real benefit to this also. Let's say you leave the house in junk condition. I mean, you leave trash there, etc. Let's say you get a package delivered, whether it's the mail. You get the mail forward, something gets delivered there. How likely is that person going to be to go, oh, let me get this to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who left dirty baby diapers hidden in the closet upstairs.
You
So
still
just
do that, Mark?
leave it. You may need that person that bought your house to provide something to you in the future. Just the right thing to do.
They'll be talking smack on you to the old neighbors that you just used to be friends with.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, folks, as we said, real estate is hot, 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 just like 1995, just like Craig in that shirt, or not. We'll tell you how hot when we return in a few. Life as you own it.
There we go.
All right, we're back. Mark McDougall, Craig Miller. How you doing, Craig? It
Life as
seems
you
like
own
it's
it.
been a while. Yeah,
Doing-
life as you own it.
Doing just peachy.
Hey, folks, I want to give a shout out to all our friends that tune in on a regular basis, to our affiliates across the nation. We continue to grow. We're really proud of. I'm really proud of the work you do, Craig. Good job, my friend.
Thank you.
But we're excited that we get your feedback each and every week. We get your questions, and we want to be your resource. Remember, you can check us out by going to lifeasyouownit.com. You can also call us. We've got someone standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 877-300-1536. Again, 877-300-1536. Or you can shoot us an email, questions@lifeasyouownit.com. That's questions@lifeasyouownit.com. We want to be your resource, your go-to place to get any kind of home ownership question answered, how to get your best deal on insurance, whatever it is. If we can't answer it, we're going to direct you to a professional, or we're going to get you the resources so that you can get the best advice and own this life. That's our goal.
That's right.
All right, Craig. So you're feeling good.
Feeling good, looking
That's
good.
a nice shirt.
Being good. Thank you.
Is that what color is that?
This has got multiple dots on it, so it forms a color, but ultimately it's comprised of multiple different colors. And I would
Okay.
say that it's fuchsia and baby blue
Okay.
dots
All right.
on a pearl white.
All right.
I don't
Okay,
know.
folks, you got to check out the video podcast to see exactly what we're talking about. It's actually not a bad looking shirt, but probably more than you need as you're driving down the road.
Man.
All right. So, Craig,
Yes, sir.
we already covered 5 things that drive your real estate agent nuts. I know you've done some of
And
those.
home
You've
prices.
overpriced a home.
You
have.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it.
All right,
Now,
folks. Well, the good
take
news
me
is
to
since Q2 2012, so we're working on over 2 years now, there's quarter over quarter, home prices have been on the rise. It's fantastic, folks. We've had a nice, strong economy. We've had we've watched in that time frame. You can watch as unemployment has gone down and down and down.
Theoretically.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and we have witnessed that the demand for housing has continued to grow. And so, as we have seen in most markets, there is a lack of inventory. More houses are coming on the market as people are now going, oh my gosh, we've had enough appreciation. I can now sell, make a few dollars, and be able to have a down payment for my next home. So it's something we can't deny. If you make it a part of your overall plan, don't think that the 3-year itch on housing is a good thing that you may have experienced. You go, oh, I need a bigger house now. Why? Because this house has gone up in value. I need to get a bigger house.
Right.
Don't be conservative. Keep the same roof. Make the improvements to the home you have if you can do it. If it can meet your needs, live within your means. We're all for giving it back to the economy. Make sure it's a part of a financial plan that you can stick to, even when times are a little more lean. All right, Craig. So really, we've seen. I'll just say it's in almost double digits. Q1 of 2014 over national home prices rose 10.3%. Q1 2004, Q3 11% in Q4 2013, 11% before that, quarter before that, 10%, 9.9%. Folks, that's some significant appreciation, and it means that that investment in real estate, it presently may look like a great short-term investment. Don't let it fool you. It's a long-term investment that each person's unique situation needs to be thought thoroughly through before you jump in.
That's right.
Or jump out. All right, Craig. What else we want to discuss today? What
Well,
else you got? I got some other things.
Let's talk about it. What do you have?
Let's talk about it. Okay, so I said, beam me up, Craigie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about this? Huh? Did you hear about this house?
I'm a radio guy, not a doctor. Something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm a doctor, not a radio
I'm
guy.
a doctor, not a doctor.
I'm a doctor, not a radio guy, Jim.
That's right.
I don't know if that was a good imitation of Bones, but that's the best I've got.
That's
All
what
right,
you
so you could be the next one to take control of the bridge of the USS Bell. That is, if you have $35 million to spare. That's the asking price of a Star Trek themed lair in Boca Raton, Florida. Star Trek. You should see the pictures. We'll have a link to this on the site. But
Wacky,
go look at
wild
some of those.
stuff.
Well, you
There's
know what? I didn't
weird
give you all the
stuff in it.
pictures, Craig. But you should.
Yeah.
It looks truly like you're at the command. You're at the command deck. You've been kind of like the show here in Life as You Own It.
I'm going to be real honest.
You can hear there's
I'm going
Bones.
to say this.
Watch.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
A bricklayer. All right.
Or whatever else. It was
Well,
always
you
I'm
know
a doctor,
what?
not a something.
Craig, I've seen you at the gym shooting hoops, and you, my friend, are a bricklayer. Okay,
I've seen
so
you at the gym lifting weights.
That's
You're
right.
a Girl Scout.
oh,
Alright, so you're
are
a
you-
cookie
I'm
salesman.
sorry. What's the what's the problem with Girl Scouts? Saying girls
they
can't
don't-
lift
they
weights?
They don't lift that much.
All right.
That's all
Okay.
I'm saying. You
All
can
right.
lift the 5-pounders.
So this home, it's pretty cool. You gotta just check it out, folks. If you got a little spare time, we're looking at a $35 million listing that really does look like a Star Trek. It's got a small pool of buyers for this home. It's
Ballroom
27,000 square feet with
Yeah.
8 bedrooms, a ballroom housing over 60 arcade games. I'm curious. So does that make it a ballroom?
Or a
Or would that
gaming
make it
room.
a video, an arcade?
Arcade.
I don't
An
know.
arcade.
Yeah, maybe a whopping 16 bathrooms, and it also has 3 full bars, a $1,500 bottle wine cellar, a library, a gym, and a full basketball court. You know what? I'll take my chances against hooping against a person that has their whole house made out to be like the Star Trek Command Center. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just think I could take him or her.
probably
I
so.
don't
And
know.
I'm not a big Star Trek fan. I never really was. My dad would watch it sometimes. I was like, gosh, this is just not a good show.
I kind of like
I like
it.
Star Wars
Okay.
movies.
All right.
Those are way
So,
cooler.
so also in other real estate, interesting real estate news that may not apply directly to all of our listeners, but there's a handful of you out there. I know. There's a private island sells for $30 million off of its original asking price. You could get Innocence Island in the Bahamas for a cool $17 million, Craig. That was original list price of $55 million. Craig, I think you should jump in, pay full price. We can both go down there and hang out. Folks, keep hanging out with us. We'll be back in a few. Life as you own it.
If I have the option, I'm buying this place way more than a Star Trek house.
Island?
Yeah.
You read about it?
I'd rather buy an island for.
Oh, trust me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
of course. Look at all the
There's
bricks
geeks
in
out
that
there
island.
that
Look at all the people living on your island.
How are you doing? Great. Okay, friends, we are back. Life as you own it. How about those discounts on private islands? See,
How
that's
about those
that's,
discounts?
that's a lot better deal to me than the Boca Raton deal.
I agree. You just need, I just need about, let's see, 17 million of my closest friends, 16,999,000 of my closest friends, and we could buy it.
That'd be awesome.
Be awesome.
I'll go in.
I got my
Find
buck
the rest
ready.
of 'em.
I got $1 ready. You know what? We've got probably, about 25 million listeners to the show. Folks, let's buy an island.
What do
We'll make it the Life as you own it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
It'll be like
Timeshare it
Swiss
out.
Family Miller.
Each
Swiss
person-
Family McDougal.
Each one of you who contributes and we buy this island, you're allowed 5 minutes on the island. You each get
Each
5
year.
minutes a year.
We got
timeshare.
17 million of us. We're going to have to do
15
some
minutes.
math here. It might be 17 million, yeah.
You know what is kind of risky about this whole island thing? I'm just going to throw this out there if you really think. Some pirates come on, modern day pirates.
Right, yeah.
Somalian.
And Mark, you're
Hey,
familiar with pirates. And
I
so
am.
what happens
And I do.
is you're not
Captain
a
Jack.
Pittsburgh fan.
That's
But what happens is all of a sudden you're on your island, you're chilling, you got a pina colada in your hand, you're having a mango,
Yeah.
and next thing you
Eating
know,
a
these
fresh
dudes
mango.
show up from Cambodia or something, I don't know, and they got machetes and AK-47s, and they're like, this is our island now. And there's
Right, we're
nobody
taking
here
it
that's
out.
going to do nothing about it.
Right. And
Somalia.
they take all the rum,
Somalians.
they take all the rum and all the women. And then we're just put at
You're just sitting
they
there.
put us on a boat and they
See
just
you later.
say his ship sails up, yep.
See you later. So that's the only scary. You got to have your own police force,
Right.
or some kind of a way to.
You know one thing, if
Cool,
that, you know what would be
break out,
cool?
like, yeah, get a shootout.
I know what they'd be like. If you know what you need to do,
What?
if you're on the island, you're on the beach, and the boat see the pirates coming
Oh
up.
boy, what's
just,
coming?
just take your shirt off. They're gonna go. You know what it looks like? This island has
Mid-
been inhabited-
having fun.
inhabited by a bunch of gorillas.
They're like, that man's built like a silverback.
That's
I don't
right.
want to mess with him.
More hair than a silverback. All right,
Just
folks,
for the record,
we
folks,
digress
it's not
just
like
a
that.
little bit there. But okay, so let's jump into some.
right.
Moving on from the island. So, student loan debt. Craig, you've talked about it a bunch. It's a serious deal, isn't it?
It's beyond serious. It's an epidemic, and I'm not exaggerating when I use the word epidemic. It is truly a financial epidemic that has overtaken a generation of people. I'm not saying this in exaggerating terms here. This is something that cannot be taken lightly. It has to be looked at because I believe this is something that can be turned around, and I believe the next generations to come can see the fallacy and how all this went down and go, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way to do this. So the system itself has kind of dictated to the consumer in such a way that you just get sucked into it culturally. So we don't want that. All right, so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. All right, folks. So, I think I told you. Yeah, I've told many a youth, because I'm not close to a youth anymore. There's always opportunities to attend college, and one novel one, without taking on a bunch of student loan debt. One novel concept is work and save your own money. Another one is join the military, save your own money, get the GI Bill and/or college fund, and give back to this great country. Serve. That's another option. You have those options. And here are 5 other colleges where you can go tuition free. Number 1 on the list, and these are in no order, but there's one not too far from our headquarters, Craig. Point Lookout, Missouri. It's College of the Ozarks.
Hard Work U, they call it.
Hard Work U, that's right. How do they do it? College of the Ozarks puts students to work to reduce the cost of hiring outside labor. College of the Ozarks requires all students to work 15 hours per week on campus and 2 40-hour weeks during the school year in positions ranging from landscaping to administrative jobs. Any grant or scholarship money students receive through other sources is also applied to tuition costs, and all remaining tuition is covered by the school's more than $350 million endowment. There you go, folks. College of the Ozarks. There's an option for you. Another option, Craig, what is it?
Option number 2, ladies and gentlemen, New London, Connecticut. Tuition price there, again, absolutely free. How do they do it, Mark?
And it's actually the U.S. Coast Guard
It
Academy.
is. I was
Yeah,
gonna let
sorry,
you
that's
say.
all right.
I was kind of
whatever.
how they do it is.
And how do they? Well,
This
yeah,
is gonna be
you go into the Coast Guard and you
Yeah.
have a term of service. So the Coast Guard, along with the 4 other federally funded service institutions, not the only one. It's just one of our examples. The U.S. Naval Academy, the Merchant Marine Academy, the Air Force Academy, and the Military Academy. Go Army! All provide free tuition, though some require students to pay certain fees. After graduation, Coast Guard graduates are required to serve for at least 5 years. Service requirements of other academies range from 5 to 8 years. In the Army, you have a full, it's 8 years is your obligation, though you may not have to be active duty that entire time. But these are incredible educations that not only prepare you for life or the corporate world, they give you an education that is second to not many.
Right.
All right. Also, we've got
Especially
the
the U.S. Naval Academy in Maryland.
exactly.
Superior to that of the
Probably. I don't
Anyway.
think so. But okay, folks. So you know that drill. You know the drill now, don't you? If you're a first-time listener, this is where we do the "Should You Stay or Should You Go" segment. You ready, Craig?
Let's do it.
You're on
Let's
the
do
hot
it,
seat,
baby.
my friend. All I got to do is pull this up real quickly as the music plays. Enjoy the music, folks. Enjoy the stylings of Darren Wilhite on drums and screaming. Rich in Boca Raton, Florida, called in. Hi guys, love the show. Thanks, Rich. So I'm a new real estate investor and I want to expand on my properties. What is my best source of financing? I know people who have big lines of credit, but I don't know if I would qualify. How would you recommend I grow my business, take out individual mortgages, or find a line of credit? Hey, Craig, I know you select the SHIZGOs, the Should You Stay or Should You Go. Can we get a actual Should You Stay or Should You Go
You know,
one in
I
this week?
pick what I like.
I guess
pick
so.
what I
It's
like. You know what I like about this one, and I'm going to answer you, Rich, or answer you well. I like it because there's a lot of people this question. I mean, you hear it all the time. Maybe you're sitting up watching an infomercial. Maybe you've read a book. Maybe your friends told you how much money their buddy that they knew from another buddy, through him, buddy, cousin, made a bunch of money in real estate. Anyway, folks, bottom line is, when it comes to investing in real estate, it's going to depend. I don't know what his whole financial situation is. Many people will use a line of credit. They'll be able to buy properties under that line of credit. But I can tell you that if you're starting small and you're starting off, you're going to have to take out individual mortgages. You're going to need down payment of 20 to 25% in good credit. But if you've got those things and a little bit of reserves, you can make a great little business out of it. You just got to get educated. And if you don't feel like you've got full command of it, get advice. We'll
Hey,
be
it's
back
not really
in
closing
a
time.
few.
Back in a few.
I had that. I was going to get us out.
What's that?
I said I was going to get us out. I had it.
I'm sorry.
I had
We're
it.
looking at the clock.
It's all right. I mean, we can go a little bit over.
And I was going to make sure they knew it wasn't actually closing time. We're not actually closing.
There. Okay. It's 3 o'clock.
Right. Is this the last segment?
Number 5.
Number 5 alive.
All right, we're back. Life as you own it, and it's the final segment. We hope you've tuned in for the entire hour. If you didn't catch it all, remember you can go to you can podcast the show. You can check it out at iTunes, obviously, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and remember to call your local radio station if you're not catching us on your station. So in other words, you're picking it up somewhere else, on driving through a community that has the show now. Tell them we want Life as you own it. We demand it tomorrow. Okay,
And that's
Craig.
happening, by the way. We have those
It is.
people who podcast the show, but they're like, you know what? There's nothing like listening to a ball game on the radio, having a bowl of ice cream on a hot
Yep.
day on the front porch, and
On
there's
the front,
nothing.
go out fresh lemonade.
But if I can't have that,
Right.
I want to kick back in a lawn chair and listen to Life as You Own It.
That's right.
Balmy summer day, sitting
That's
under
right.
a tree. So
That's right. All right. Before we took the break, we were giving you. We've got options for you, young people, and maybe not young people. Those of you that are going to go get your degree and you don't want to get a bunch of student loan debt, you don't have to. We've got 5, and there are more than 5 colleges you can attend, and you can actually have your tuition paid on your behalf and get a fantastic education at most of these. So we gave College of the Ozarks was one of them, and U.S. Coast Guard Academy, the Webb Institute in Glen Cove, New York. Tuition is free for all admitted U.S. citizens and green card holders. Does not include room and board. How do they do it? The Webb Institute finds much of its funding through endowments, but it also saves money by only offering 2 select majors. At this engineering college, all students double major in naval architecture and marine engineering and take on winter work internship every year that provides them with a real-world experience in the maritime industry. The result is extremely focused education that lands jobs for 100% of Webb's graduating class. Also, Craig, we've got the Macaulay Honors College. Probably not an option for me whenever I was a youth, but to those of you cracking the books that maybe don't have a full ride scholarship available to you, it's free for in-state residents. You'd have to move to New York. All Macaulay enrollees also receive a laptop and $7,500 in opportunity funds that can be used for research projects, study abroad programs, internships, and service initiatives. How do they do it? Well, they select the creme de la creme of students. So maybe I would have made it. And the Barclay College in Haviland, Kansas.
they didn't say creamy. They said
Creamy,
creme.
dreamy and cream. Dreamy, okay, whatever.
The
All right, the
creamiest.
Barclay College. The free tuition for all.
And that's in
it's
Haviland, Kansas.
That's right. Free tuition for all
Good town.
full-time on-campus residents. Full-time off-campus students receive partial scholarships. This incredibly small Christian college only caters to students who know they want to work in pastoral and religion-based professions. Limited to a couple hundred students. Campus focuses on keeping its community cohesive and keeping its expenses low. So, folks, if you are, there similar colleges would be Brigham Young University in Provo that offers half tuition, and of course that's a significantly larger student body. And there are other colleges throughout the United States that may have, if you were going to walk the way of the cloth, then you may be able to do so free.
If you call it that. Walk
Okay.
away the cloth.
Walk
yeah.
away. Is that
All right.
Can I call it that?
There's a
How
song,
would you like to call
Walk This Way. Oh, that
Yeah.
was,
of the cloth. Talk this way.
and then Dude Looks Like a Lady was your favorite.
It was.
You
And I
identified
play
well.
it every time you walk into the room. It kind of plays in my head. All
I
right,
bet.
folks. It's been you know what? It's been another installment of Life as You Own It. We hope that you enjoyed the show and you've gotten a little. If this is the first time, you get a little taste of what we bring at you each and every week. Our goal is that you walk away with real tips. Oh, you know what, Craig?
What?
I almost forgot the most important
Real
thing.
tips.
We've got 5 tips. What were they? It was 5 tips to improve your life, basically, and they are 5 ways to increase your credit score. They are simple, they are straightforward, and we're going to give them to you real quickly, so you're going to have to pay attention.
Wreck your time.
Ready? 1, get copies of your credit report and make sure the information is
Number
correct.
2, pay your bills on time. Of course, folks.
That's right. Number 3, Craig.
Understand your credit report. Understand how your credit score is determined. Number 4, learn legal steps to improve your credit report. So take those legal steps to get it done. Beware of credit repair scams is number 5. Watch it, folks. Don't waste money on that stuff. Tune in again next week.
And remember, 2,
Stay classy. Oh, good times.